Yes, good morning, Chrissy. Today we're here with Leah Hunter, who's the Senior Police Liaison Officer at Cherbourg Station. Morning, Leah.
Morning.
Yeah, okay. So today, one of the reasons we've got Leah is she's got a great personal story herself. And I guess, Leah, welcome to Cherbourg. You've been here 4 months now.
Yes.
How have you been finding it?
Yeah, good. It's like I've come back home.
Okay, because you were here 9 years ago or so?
Yeah, 2004, 2005.
Five, yeah. So have you seen much difference in Cherbourg in that 9 years or so?
Yeah, the kids that I was involved with are now young adults. So, so it's now the next generation that's coming through.
Okay, and seeing them as young adults, have like they say, give me the boy, show me the man. Has that been the case, or has it been, or not?
Yeah, some of the kids that I did know have I've recognised and they've recognised me. So it's and they're all grown up and got kids of theirs for themselves and everything else. It's been quite amazing to see the change in them for 7 years difference.
Yeah. Change for good or?
Yeah, some of them, and I know that some aren't here anymore. They've actually moved on. So,
because I believe you were part of the complex. You started up the activities at the complex when you first arrived here 9 years ago. Is that right?
Yeah. I helped run and coordinate the complex for the 9 months that I was here. So I was dealing with all the little ones.
So how did you get into being a police liaison officer?
It was a long time ago. I was actually with Cell Watch in Hervey Bay, which was to deal with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people going into the watch house at the local police station. So we would get called and we would come in just to make sure that they were okay, and if they needed to call Aboriginal legal aid or family member just to let them know that they were there, or if they needed something, we would speak to them and just to kind of calm them down and explain the situation if they didn't understand what was going on.
Mm-hmm. And that was as a volunteer role originally, is that right?
Yeah. So, and sometimes we would sit in with interviews. If they had to do a police interview, we would sit in there with them and everything else. So we spent a lot of time at the police station, some nights. Okay,
so you, how did you make the next step then into actually paid employment from the volunteer role?
The senior sergeant actually of Hervey Bay Station at that time actually told me that the job was coming up, so he printed out the application form and it went from there.
Yeah.
So
were you stepping outside your comfort zone, or had you been in the volunteer role long enough to feel confident in it?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
It was still a big change once I did get into this role, because it was so new, and it was so new to the Maryborough district to have two police liaison officers. PLO's only started in 1997, which was one of the recommendations from the Aboriginal Deaths in Custody. So they brought that in, and they were just kind of rolling them out. They did a pilot project or program up north, and then it came, down the southeast coast of Queensland, basically.
So what's the difference between a PLO and an actual police officer?
We're better looking. No.
I won't disagree with you there. Yeah.
We don't have any powers of arrest or anything like that. We don't enforce the law. We basically try and break down those barriers between the police and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, and not just Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, but just people in general.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so is that rewarding? Do you enjoy that, or?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, so 14 years, is that right?
15 at the end of this month.
Okay, so that'll be almost long service.
Yeah, okay, definitely.
Yeah. So for people just tuning in, we're speaking with Leah Hunter, who's the Senior Police Liaison Officer at Cherbourg. So, and Leah, I guess, a lot of your work, I guess, is dealing with families who are running into trouble with the law. Is that
Yes.
fair enough? Yeah.
Yeah.
But in your background, as I understand it, I guess when you were a young child yourself, I guess you've got an interesting story, is that you were sort of one of those children who you now deal with. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that fair enough to say? So
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about that story?
Yeah, I was adopted at a young age. I think I was 4 weeks old when I was adopted into a white family, big white family. I'm the youngest of 6. My mum had 3 naturally born girls, and then she adopted 3 of us. So going through life, I was always part of the family, but I always thought that there was something missing with me being Aboriginal and the rest. My brother is Aboriginal as well, but the rest are just they're Caucasians. So I always thought that there was something missing. So I went through a lot of problems as I was growing up, and I ended up on the streets when I was 12. I had kept on fighting with mum and dad, and I just thought I was always missing something. I was, this jigsaw puzzle and a piece of this jigsaw that didn't fit into the family that I was with. So, so I still went to school and everything else, even though I was out on the streets, but I only went to grade 10. And
that wasn't that unusual though back then.
No, that's right. But I went into a job.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was really hard. I always thought that there was something missing within my life, and the people that I was hanging around with was always getting into trouble. Mm-hmm. The boyfriend that I had at that stage was breaking into places and stealing cars, and he had already done time in jail. So, and at one point of my life, I decided that if I kept on going down this road, I would be the same. I'd be in and out of jail, have heaps of kids to, different people, and I didn't want that. So I decided to pack my stuff up and move away. So, and reconnect with my mum and dad.
Yeah. Okay. Now, they were your adopted
Yes,
parents? Yeah.
yes.
And they were always there for you?
They were always there for me. It was just me being stubborn.
Yeah. And you were saying you felt something was missing. Do you still feel there was something missing, or do you think that was just part of your teenage years?
I think it's just my teenage years.
Yeah.
I really do.
Trying to figure out the world.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I knew everything mum and dad didn't.
Yeah.
So, I ended up meeting my real mum in 2000, and I met my uncle as well, who I still keep in contact with. My mum has passed away. But yeah, and I'm how do I say it? Happy with, the way that, I've come along.
Things turned out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess that going to school every day,
Yes.
even though you motivated yourself, I guess, has helped you a lot in the long run, do you think?
Yeah, it has. I loved school. I had problems at school, like a lot of other kids do these days. But I still went to school. I still needed an education I wanted to be a nurse when I was growing up. I wanted to be a vet. There was a whole different things that I wanted to do, and never actually thought that I'd be working for the Queensland Police Service.
Do you enjoy coming to work every day?
Yeah, definitely. It's not boring. So you do different things every day, and it's not an 8 to 4 job. You're not stuck in the office.
Sure. And I guess in your role, you're helping people as opposed to, when you're a child, those, your boyfriend that breaking in, who are causing people harm, I guess.
Yeah.
So do you find a lot more rewarding to wake up and think, geez, I've made the world a little bit better, rather than thinking, my boyfriend stole a car last night, good on him?
Yeah. I don't know about helping the world, but just making try and make a difference to even one person's life.
Yeah, and I get back. I mean, in your role, we do make a difference every day. Not just yourself, but people who get up and work, provide services. Police, fire, working in the council. We're all part of the cog that makes the world a working place. Do you think that's fair enough?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
definitely.
So, and what would you say to the young kids today? Who? Well, I guess from my perspective, we do know that there is a troublesome group causing problems, but there's hundreds of kids here are doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Who are going to school or being good to their mum and dad and all the rest of it. I mean, what do you say? What's your message to children and families generally of Cherbourg, do you think?
Kids are still, they've got to have an education that, to get somewhere in life. It doesn't matter whether you're Aboriginal or white. We all need to learn from school. And, there's a massive big world out there, away from Cherbourg. And you've also got to help, mum and dad at home as well, or just mum or grandma, auntie or uncle.
Yeah.
We always had chores when we were children. Growing up, we always had to wash the dishes, and I had to wash, 8 different settings, of a night time. So, like you've still got
huge when you're young.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, mum.
So, you've still got it. You've got to help at home, but you've also got to have get an education so you can do something with yourself.
Yeah.
When you finally leave school and grow up and
give yourself hope, I suppose, isn't it?
Definitely.
You think, yeah, because like you say, you never expect to be a police officer.
No,
yeah.
no. I was never going to have a job where I had to iron a uniform, and look at me now.
Well, it's easy to pick your clothes for the day, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right. Well, thank you, Leah, for coming. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
So, what would you say, just to finish off, if there are children, not just children, adults out there thinking, you know what, sounds like a great job, or maybe it's a job for me. What would you say to those people, thinking of the police force or as a liaison officer?
They can always come into Cherbourg Station and come and say hello and ask us, and we can point them in the right direction. They also can have a look on the Queensland Police website.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole heap of information in regards to a Justice Entry program for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people that want to join the job, and also the recruiting side of things for mainstream. So,
and no matter what your background, you can always make a change. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If it's not that you want to join the Queensland Police, but you want to do something else, you have to start making a change now. But I know people sometimes make mistakes, and there's one or two mistakes, but you can get over that if you want to apply yourself and become something, and be proud of yourself.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.